Many emerging or struggling writers feel overwhelmed by the thought of writing, especially if they have to write an essay, story, or formal piece of writing. They might think experienced writers write just one draft that is perfect from the start. They might not realize that writing is a multi-step process that includes lots of thinking and rethinking, writing and rewriting. Writing is made up of lots of small steps that help make the whole process much more manageable for all writers, including your learner. It's important to help your learner understand that writing isn't linear. It's an iterative process that cycles back on itself multiple times. In this video, you'll see a tutor and learner creating and discussing a chart that illustrates the iterative steps of the writing process. Pre-writing, planning, drafting, reflection, tutor or peer review for feedback, revision, editing and proofreading, and publishing or sharing the final piece of writing. In Chapter 1, the tutor provides an overview of the writing process. In Chapter 2, the tutor and learner discuss different stages of the writing process in more depth.
Hey, welcome back again, Darcy.
Hey, nice to see you.
How'd the week go?
It's been a busy week, but I've managed to find some time to, do some studying, do my reading, and kind of keep up on all my work.
All right, that's good. So today we're going to do something different. We're going to talk about writing, how it's a process. Writing always makes me a little nervous. Maybe you too.
It does, especially if, we're looking at our grammar and spelling, and it's like, oh, I don't want to do it.
Fair enough. Well, we're going to talk about the steps. There's 8 steps in the writing process. We don't really have to worry about spelling and grammar till about the 7th step. So put that aside, okay? We're going to be doing drafting and pre-writing and various things, but the grammar and the spelling aren't important until we get near the end.
Okay.
So be assured that you'll be fine.
Okay.
All righty.
Right.
So I just want to list out for you the steps, and I like to write them on this graphic here for you.
Okay.
So you can understand the steps, and we're going to show how they flow. So the first step of the 8, Darcy, is called pre-writing. And we've done that where we just download ideas, right? We're not focused on spelling or grammar, just the ideas. Let them flow. Let that artistic energy in you just come out.
Okay.
All righty. The second thing it's going to have is planning. Planning is going to help us organize our pre-writing ideas.
Okay.
Right? Give us a skeleton or a structure where we're headed. So once we've got our ideas, we've got them planned out, we're going to do a step called drafting. We're starting to put our ideas together and in a flow, like in an outline. Okay?
All right.
All right. Then we get to go to step 4, reflection. So we've taken our ideas, we formed them, we bold them, we got a draft. How does that fit? What are ideas? What do we think about? So we've got them down, maybe walk away and take a walk or come back the next day. Look at it fresh again, right? Look at our work and reflect about it, think about it.
Wow, this is even looking more complicated than I thought.
It is complicated, but you will get this. And we'll actually start adding some lines now to show you the flow. Because writing isn't linear. It's what they call iterative. You can go to different steps, sometimes more or less. But we had our pre-writing. That's where we gather our ideas. From there, we flow to the planning where we organize ideas.
Okay.
After we've organized our ideas, now we're in the drafting stage. So you drafted. Now you have something to look at that you've done. This comes where your reflection part comes in. After you've done your reflection, you can go a variety of ways. And feel free to be the drawer if you want to be the drawer. You can come back to the drafting stage. Okay? So from reflection, we may go drafting. Because again, it's iterative. We can be doing things over and over. Or we can be happy with what we have and want to give it to our peer, our tutor for review. So now they've looked at it, and they've given us some comments. Now with those comments, we could end up going back to drafting again.
Redo it again.
is what they told us. All right. Or we could also be going back to reflection. They've told us some things, giving us our
Give it
feedback.
some more ideas.
Do we want to go forward or come back? Or maybe they said, Darcy, you're a great writer. You've done a good job in your pre-writing, your planning, your drafting, your own self-reflection. You're ready to go to the revision stage.
Okay.
Okay, so in the revision stage, again, we're still not focused on spelling and grammar, it's just our ideas, formatting, organizing them.
So this whole thing just kind of goes around in a cycle.
Yeah, it can
and it
keep
kind of
going.
going back and forth until I'm really happy with what I'm writing.
Yeah,
Okay.
and you can get to the revision part and go, well, I want to go
Don't
back to
start
draft
over
again,
again.
and you can start the loop again.
Right.
All right? Or maybe you've done this looping enough times, so you got to the revision, you're feeling pretty good. Now, when we get to this point, we can send it out for editing and proofreading. So now we're going to focus on,
That's where the editor comes in.
like the
Okay.
spelling, the grammar,
All
and
right.
does it flow, right?
Okay.
And from there, they can do a number of things to us, right?
You send us back. We can
Yeah.
keep going around again.
We can go around again at the drafting or the revision stage, right? It's like you keep circling around and around and around until you get to the point and you feel like to pass the editing and proofreading stage. Then we're ready for the big time. Now you're ready to publish, Darcy.
All right.
Now, publishing could be a real publishing with a hard book, like some of our writers we have in our text here. It could be writing a note to your boss. Right? It could be posting on social media.
Okay.
The publishing when you're ready to release it. So when you've gone through this iterative process, keep working, fine-tuning, till we get a finished product we're happy with. And we have the different stages along the way that we're going to go through as part of our writing process.
Like I said, I always thought it was just, because it always seems like these guys had it together and it's just so easy. So writing it out like this and having the arrows, I could see how, it's going to take some time. It takes a little bit of effort to but circling back around, I could really see how that could help me really get my thoughts organized and really put down on paper what I want to say.
Perfect.
Right?
You've got it. So Dorothy, example of a mind map. I'll draw a picture here. We'll have a topic, for example. We'll say, what makes a good coach? And
Okay.
then you'd list attributes.
Empathy,
Empathy, okay. Another one?
knowledge,
Knowledge. How about a third?
caring,
Caring. Okay. So now we've got 3 attributes. And then we tag on to say empathy, some examples of that. Of empathetic coaching.
Yeah, just being able to understand what your students are going through or what your athletes are going through. It's
Okay.
understanding.
Got another one?
No.
Okay. How about knowledge?
Knowledge, there's a lot of technical aspects you have to know,
Technical.
right?
Okay.
And you have to know all the rules,
Okay. Rules.
rule books.
Okay. So this gives us an idea.
Okay.
So then if the topic were what makes a good coach, you could have for a paragraph sentence about caring, one about empathy, another about knowledge. And then under those, then you talk about what you have under that. Like under knowledge, talk about how it's technical, talk about rules they have to have. Okay?
Okay.
So that's all part of our planning. We've got it organized. And then when you start to write those sentences, those paragraphs, that's our drafting stage, right?
Okay.
You're starting to create your product,
Right.
right?
Okay.
This masterpiece that you're going to have, that we're going to publish. This is good, Darcy. The drafting stage now is when we're actually going to have the pen or pencil hit the paper, right? This we're actually
Okay.
going to do our product. We're going to think about what we're doing. Again, the focus isn't spelling or grammar. It's this ideas. We're going to write complete sentences, and we're going to have our thoughts flow, right? You go back to your mind map or your outline, whatever helps you with that, because this is the important part, right? This is the product that we're
Okay.
working on. And then when you've looked at that, you've done your work, you're going to reflect about it for a reflection stage, and you may go back and make some changes, or you may forward it on to a peer review.
Okay.
The peer reviewer are going to give us feedback. Either they think it's a wonderful job, or they may give us some ideas. So you can go to different places back on this writing process. You can go back to the drafting part, go to reflection and think about what they've shared.
Right. Go back over it again.
Or you can make some revisions to your work.
Okay.
Right? The revision stage, Darcy. This is, again, we're focused on ideas, not spelling and grammar. That comes later. We're focused on our ideas. Have we laid our ideas out in a good, solid flow that makes sense, and it'll make it easier for our readers to follow our thoughts. So again, we're looking at the structure, how it's laid out.
So I can start to make changes at this point, or that's when I start actually, moving things around on the page?
You could be moving things around on the page. You could be adding a sentence for a transition between paragraphs.
Or if I left out a thought or an idea.
You can insert it now.
Okay.
So we're polishing up this piece so it makes it easy for the reader to follow our idea or our ideas. Okay. And when we're comfortable with that, then we either go back to drafting, reflection, or we're ready for the editing and proofreading, where they're going to check our spelling and grammar. So Darcy, we're ready for the editing and proofing stage. This can be a very important stage or step if this is work that's important to us and people are going to be evaluating our criteria like a boss.
That's where I always get hung up, because I'm always worried about judging, and people are going to judge me when they see this, right?
They will. They'll judge you by your writing. So now we're going to focus on that spelling.
Okay.
We're going to focus on that grammar. We're going to focus on that punctuation. Because if it's an important piece and it's going to be evaluated and judged based on that, we want it to be squeaky clean. Yeah? Okay. So we got to take time and effort to make that a presentable product that we're proud of, to hang our name on it. All right? And our final step of our writing process, Darcy, is publishing. Now, some people are actually published. Student learners even. We have examples of people here in Alameda that have got their work published. But most of the time we're not publishers in a formal sense. But we are publisher in the sense we share that writing that we did, whether it's a note to a family member, whether it's posting on a blog, whether it's a memo to the boss. It's something we want to be proud of and present. And it's sharing, right? We're communicating, we're sharing with others in a written format. That could be to remind them of something, to provide them with some affirmation. It could be to communicate an idea we want them to understand. Why do you write?
For a couple of different reasons. Mostly right now, just to communicate with my son, or to his mom when we're writing emails to each other, or to different family members, the families I work with, to communicate with them.
Yeah, and it's important to be able to be proud of our work, what we've done.
Okay, so I think I understand this now. Putting together ideas, putting together all these thoughts, it occurs to me it's kind of like, painting a room, where we have to go in and prep the room first. You have to make sure we patch any holes, sometimes respackle, tape it all off, and that process goes over and over. I mean, that can take a long time. Prepping the room to paint takes most of the time. And I can see how, when we do our writing, all of these other steps, before I even get to publishing or even editing, it takes so much longer to go through these other steps,
True. Very true. You got the concept, Darcy.
In this video, you've seen a tutor and learner discuss the writing process and its iterative, cyclical nature.